Sorry to bother you as always.
I'll be counting on you again.
This time Mia, sporting a cheeky smile as she said
seemed
to feel no guilt for making us foot the bill.
She
took for granted that she could join
and use
our
Rick
trips,
like a personal ATM,
leading me to sigh
for what must have been the umpteenth time.
Oh, by the way, this time Mia's parents are also coming
Thrown
along. Off by this unexpected change
I was
of
caught
plans.
off guard.
Of course, Mia had no intention
For
of
her
paying
parents'
travel expenses.
Rick,
trying to maintain his generosity in front
wouldn't
of
dare
Mia,
to ask her to chip in.
I knew for a fact that he would come back
Asking
to
me
later
to pay
half. Despite the surprise,
I was secretly pleased
the
with
unexpected turn of events.
I glanced at the excited
and chuckle
Rick.
under my breath. Yes, that's fine. It'll be the last time anyway. Last time, I nodded. Giving a broad smile, the two of them looked surprised
but
for a
soon
moment.
burst
out laughing. Right sure they chuckled, thinking my words were just a
and
joke.
not taking them seriously.
They resumed their friendly chat. Seeing the two of them so
I
carried
didn't
away,
even respond.
In my bag, I gently caressed a certain tool,
Eagerly
awaiting the moment of my revenge. My name is Mary. I'm turning 63 this year. We used to love traveling. From an early age, we would arrange our work schedules a few times
enjoy
a year.
domestic trips.
This didn't change after we
Or
had children.
even
After retirement,
I thought
we would continue to
our hobby
enjoy
in
this way. Everything changed when Mia, the wife of our eldest son, started visiting our house. After our eldest son, Max, got married, Mia started visiting our home quite often. Even busy with work, Max seemed to feel
knowing
relieved that Mia was visiting her in-laws' house. So I didn't say anything. We were happy to have Mia, who was young enough to be our own daughter,
coming to visit
out
us.
of affection. However, what began to bother me was the attitude
Rick
of my
towards
husband.
Mia.
Thank you so much for always treating me to dinner. It's okay, it's worth cooking when you visit. Right, she only has cooking as a hobby. That's why she's really happy when Mia visits. When Rick talked with Mia, he often started to belittle me. He constantly compared me with Mia, who was young enough to be my daughter. Mia has beautiful skin, or you should learn from Mia's sense of beauty. He would take any opportunity to praise
and put
Mia
me
down, sure. Mia always came to our house with a beautiful hairstyle. However, it's troubling for both
and
Mia
me
to be compared with someone who has as big as a parent and child. I tried to correct Rick, who kept on talking excitedly, alcohol included. Could you stop it? You're making Mia uncomfortable, aren't you? What's wrong with saying the truth? Are you jealous of a beautiful girl? Of course not. What are you saying then? Don't complain. Sorry, Mia, my wife isn't as young as you. So she gets irritated easily. With a smug smile, Rick shrugged it off, and I sighed in frustration. Perhaps because we didn't have a daughter, overjoyed when a cute woman became like our son's wife. But recently, Rick's behavior seems to have gone too far. Gifting were confiscated. Rick has been going around telling people I ended up divorcing because I was being milked by Mia. It seems like he's causing. Not only does he belittle me, more trouble in that regard. As well, I heard that he even went to Mia's place demanding her to repay the money he had spent on her it caused. But he's constantly doting on Mia. Quite a commotion. Was Dad always like this? I only remember him and Mom getting along. Well, I wonder. In retrospect, he seems to have just been a visibly enthralled
lazy
by her.
Man with
whom I shared a common interest in travel. Max was disappointed in Rick, who lacked any
of
sense
authority
as a father. He vented his, I thought it was some kind of frustrations to me about Rick's behavior. However, from my perspective, the story only reinforced that it was a good thing we had divorced because Rick, but I haven't forgotten, had spoiled Mia so much. He had almost no money left. I successfully divorced him and now live comfortably by myself, having kicked him out now. The careless words that
I'm planning a
emboldened
trip
Rick let slip to wherever I want to go, undisturbed, in making up for all the times I had been made to endure in the past. You are always so kind to me. Yeah, well, I bet I'm a better man than Max. Hey, what are you saying? Max has always been coward. Unlike him, I could protect Rick was Mia. Implying to Mia that he was a better. The thought of him saying such things to Mia, my daughter-in-law, made me feel repulsed. I hear you too often. I heard it from Max. Yes, it's been a hobby of ours for a long time. Max has been so busy with work on a trip in forever. Mia kept a bright smile on her face and turned her gaze toward Rick. I felt a chill at her expression, anticipating Rick's next really words. How about joining us on our next trip? Are you sure? I feel a little bad. Rick brightened his expression and said this to Mia. He didn't seem to care about my opinion even as she said she felt bad. She glanced at me, cupping her cheeks but I don't have any money to spend freely. We invited you, so we'll cover it. Right, Yes, I guess. When Rick looked to me for agreement, Mia took Rick's hand with a triumphant smile. Gratitude. Perhaps it was my imagination. But Mia was indeed smiling at me with a narrowed gaze. We're planning to head out at the beginning so be ready of next month. In the end, the two of them were getting excited with a cold so what gaze. Are we going to do? We haven't reserved a hotel room. We'll have to do it now. Take care of it. Why should I have to do it? Why are you knowing being so Mia cold? Is coming? After Mia left, when I informed Rick that he said something absurd. Despite his pompous demand of Rick didn't lift a finger to make the hotel reservations or even secure the theater tickets. What's more, we had he even hesitated to cover the costs. His grand boast. Yet despite his attitude, he made the creepy joke of if need be, which left me this at my wit's end. Naturally continued during the trip. Even during the trip, Rick never stopped trying to and had to change our plans. I had prepared. It was quite frustrating without reproaching Mia. Wooed her while being lovey to but it's a problem if you mess up our travel. You're right. I'm sorry your husband is so kind. I just got spoiled. I'm happy when you rely on me. How much I conveyed. Mia would wink at Rick, where Rick would rebuke me established. Mia clearly understanding that Rick was on her side, seen making manipulative and whatever Rick would only brazenly retort. I'm sorry, I'm always the one having fun. Really, I must be a nuisance. Right, not at all. I'm really enjoying having Mia with us. Is more of a nuisance. Always complaining. Do you really mean that? Once Mia tasted the good life, she started coming to our house just in time for our trips and naturally started accompanying us. Perhaps Rick had been inviting Mia in advance, knowing that
was
he
going to travel.
I was not
any
informed
of this.
Despite that, the extra travel expenses due during
to Mia
the trip
were
mostly left to me. The payments to Rick, never even
Her wallet
attempting
in
to
fact
didn't even bring a wallet. I want it as a
That's
souvenir.
okay.
I'll pay for it. Let's go buy it. Really, thank you. The additional expenses for Mia kept increasing because Rick, wanting to please her, would readily jump into pay. And always afterwards, some strange reasoning like I'm just responding to Mia's request and resist even when more handing over the money to me. The trip, which was supposed to be enjoyable, but additional expenses. Nothing went as planned, and I grew increasingly disgusted. Such trips time and again, causing my irritation. The two of them did not solve anything. I decided to complain about Mia. The response was that came back from Max expectations and was extremely harsh. Mia has been tagging forever. Can't something be done about this? I've heard that Dad is happily in the problem is that they decide everything on their own. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't that strange? I've heard that Mia actually pays for her own expenses, right? From what I could tell, Max seemed to have been fed a distorted story by Mia. The tale that Mia was paying for her own expenses because my husband Rick was insistently inviting on these trips. Of course, hadn't received a single given Rick's personality either, and yet was making up this story despite Mia. That's absurd. If that's what you think, she doesn't have to come anymore. Mia is trying to get along with you. You don't have to talk like that, right? Who fabricates lies and makes others out to be the bad guys. I tried to explain to Max, but I didn't have any proof that for the trip. Max seemed to be in a dilemma. Trust me or Mia later. Max apparently talked to Mia who again. Stuck to her story that she was paying her fair share. In fact, she complained to Max that it was unfair for me to claim she wasn't paying when she was, and that she felt overwhelmed by her tearful appeal. Max sighed over the phone, seemingly taking me aside at Max's doubt. I was at my wit's end. Mia never takes out her wallet when she comes on these trips. She always says she has no disposable income, not working, but she's telling me that Max defended. In that case, isn't she traveling your earnings if she really is paying exactly how she's much put in the face of such hostile circumstances? I had reached my limit with Mia, who making me look bad with her petty behavior, was consistently falling for it. In order to convince I decided to take revenge on Mia came as along. Always her small seemed to hold little more than a handkerchief and her smartphone with no signs of a wallet. For always being I appreciate your help this time too. As she said this, with a smirk, she seemed to feel neither guilt nor anything about making others pay her for. As usual. Mia climbed the passenger seat of and Rick's flashed car. Him a friendly smile. Rick responded to Mia's with behavior. A laugh. Seeing the two I saw of them, it again. I might have usually tolerated it, but not this time. Slightly in the back seat. I glared. I was planning to push into hell. How about this place? I've always wanted to visit there. Oh, great. I'll take you everywhere. You want to go, I'm Mia. So happy. Thank you despite not bringing a single penny. Herself, Mia seemed fully prepared of she wanted to go and started proposing ideas in front of completely me. The previous agreed plan. With her smartphone, she kept telling Rick, I want to go here. Like always, I didn't pay much attention. Instead, checked for my revenge. Suddenly, Rick turned to look at me as if had just remembered out the most outrageous thing. Oh, right, Mia's parents are joining us this time. To excuse me, I told my parents about our trips, and they got jealous. I thought I'd invite parents since it's a special occasion, of course. I'm going to cover all the costs, so Mia doesn't need to worry about anything, and gave me a sit-along glance, caught off guard the sudden change in plans. I was speechless. Regarding Mia's parents, of course, she probably has no intention of paying it. Rick is just pretending to be generous in front of Mia right now. He probably has no intention of paying. Most likely tell me to pay half. Once we got surprised and annoyed development, I had to suppress chuckle really. That's convenient. Upon hearing my response, Rick looked at me with a sly smile. Right. He was in such good mood that he even started humming as he resumed driving. Perhaps he misunderstood that he could. With Mia's with his wife's approval, or he may have thought that since I said it was convenient, I generously foot the bill. I glance excited and chuckle under my breath. So no problem. The last time. With a broad smile, I responded to her. Them looked at me in surprise for a moment, but then began laughing. Right? They seemed to think I was kidding and didn't take me seriously. Mia is like our own daughter. Of course we'll keep going on trips together, right? Of course so. Please taking care of me. Ignoring the overconfident duo, I maintained my smile on events that Rick hadn't informed me about, thinking that we're about to experience when we arrived at the hotel in the evening. We met up Mia's parents, and were all led Mia and Rick both announced that they were going to rest in the room. Of course, two were in separate rooms, but I knew what exactly they were up to when they said this. So I intentionally said to them, I think I'll have a drink with Mia's parents, since it's occasion. Sure. Take your time. Creating a situation where they could be cheerfully alone. Said, take your time. And Mia even waved at me with a grin. The way they seemed more at ease without Brown me confirmed my suspicions, anticipating that they would let their guard down. I approached Mia's parents. There's something I'd like you to see. Okay? As they looked, I quietly launched app on my smartphone and began to play a video. Wow. What a nice room. Your room really is nice too. You can come to this room too. Right, the video I started to show them from a camera I had set up in the room this earlier. Was the and I were staying, and Mia had, as if it the was most natural thing in the world. Mia's parents watched with puzzled faces the sight of their daughter who and were Rick quite familiar with each other. It's like I'm preparing the trip for Mia. Heck, we could even go on a just trip, the two of us, without my wife. That would be too pitiful for your wife, but she is that really I'm not worried about it. Mia, I'll give her a piece of my mind. The screen was continuously displaying between and a funny the interaction between the two, unthinkable for a father and daughter-in-law, was heating up. They seemed to be having fun at my expense. As well as Mia's mother saw her own daughter comfortably hurling outrageous insults at me. She turned pale and looked at me. What on earth? What is my daughter doing? Being from a camera. We left in my husband's room. It seems your daughter is currently to my husband in our room. I thought this was because Mia wanted to express her gratitude to us. Oh really? I was only informed today that both of you were coming. Seems she decided on. I revealed everything about the trip and other things to the two without of them hiding anything. The fact that Mia wasn't contributing all Rick's attitude, the fact that the two were neglecting as me. I explained. The two confessed because of this. The complexion of the two who had been watching next to me changed, turning red and pale. I was quietly recording the various words of Rick, who was smirking
And his words too. His daughter-in-law. That didn't
seem like
my
lines.
daughter has done something
Terrible.
Don't
I
know
truly
how
to apologize.
I appreciate your
understanding.
I intend
Sever
to
ties
to
with
after
these.
this. Looking at
Who
the
were
two
downcast.
speechless, I thought it
would be cruel
to torment them anymore. And when the time was right, I headed for the room. I forcefully
the door
opened
of
the toes room, thinking that it was about time to reveal the truth. Whoa,
What
Mary!
the heck?
All of a sudden, what is there? Something returning
inconvenient
to my
about
own
me?
room. I didn't
Don't
say
just
that.
barge
You'll
in.
scare us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought
Because
you were
you
jumpy. Had something to
As
hide.
I said
I
that
replayed the footage
from earlier
in front of the two, seeing their parents' faces behind me. The two became
I
flustered at their
flustered.
ridiculousness. Did you want to come on a trip
by yourselves?
Were Mia's parents and I
Well,
in the
that's
way? I
Mia,
heard
your
from that if
parents.
you invite them on a trip to express
You
gratitude,
should
at
ask.
least pay for it yourself. No,
That's not it.
That's not it. It's because
He said
give
he
me
would.
money. Mia, who was
Desperately
trying to defend herself, kept, and Rick, who was blustering about the camera.
I had prepared
seeing
in
the
secret.
two couldn't even apologize.
At this
I
point,
felt my heart growing colder. Is what she's
saying true?
Max, the
Who
person
appeared?
timing was Max, who had been away
On a business
Mia
trip.
was surprised
The
unexpected
by,
and
guest.
her face turned pale as she gasped.
Of course,
had
I,
called Max
ahead of time
for this occasion, noticing
discrepancy
between the amount in the household account and the travel expenses. Max, who had finally felt something was off, was no longer likely to side
with
Mia.
Were you lying?
It's not like that. It's because your dad said I didn't have
I just
to pay.
advantage
Please
of
believe.
that.
Oh, really? You've been making me
Because
pay. You said you were short of money because of Mia. I operated my smartphone and replayed another video at full volume. It was a conversation where Rick was reluctant to pay for the trip because I feel sorry. Her expenses. And you also wanted to go on this trip, so you should pay for it. Nonsensical remarks throughout. The room. He's so broke that he has to make me pay. What? He's the worst. I was trying to be a good daughter-in-law because I thought he had money. Lowly remarks emanating from the smartphone. Mia's true nature finally emerged. The person who condemned Mia, who was wide-eyed and trying to insult Rick, was Mia's mother, Alice, listening quietly in the background. Who's the real lowlife here? I'm so embarrassed. As a parent, Alice with red face reprimanded Mia so much so that I had to intervene. You are no my longer daughter. I shouldn't have believed that you were offering this trip as a gift. Didn't mean it like that. This is so as unfair. Mia's voice through I the room instinctively reprimanded Alice. Rick quietly came over to me and finally offered an apology, saying sorry for trying to look of my son's wife. However, I was fed with up Rick's attitude, which seemed to imply that he forgiveness. When we came here, I said it would be the last time. I don't need a husband, his son's wife anymore. What? Why? I'm apologizing. You do. An apology will suffice. You're such a disappointment. With that, I expressed my desire. Divorce. That Rick finally realized irreversible mistake. He knelt down on the spot and drooped after the disastrous trip. When he learned the truth, the cost of Mia's trip covered would be repaid. Mia, who seemed to have been affected by her parents' admonishment, Mia decided to work part-time without any help from Max. In addition to the trip, I heard that the branded accessories that Rick had fervently